I'm the camera person.
Howdy folks, I'm here today to bring attention to a subject that I think all of us are relatable to, and I think all of us feel the same way. But first off, I want to start with just a quick survey, and I want to ask if you could raise your hand if you think you're the best driver in this room. Now, keep that thought in mind, and I want you to turn your head into the direction of the person that you think is the worst driver in this room. Now that is leading up to the topic that I've chosen for this speech, and that is our wonderful Houston traffic that we agonize every day. I'm going to present to you a few statistics about Houston traffic, and I'm going to go over a few viewpoints of my experiences that I felt stick out the most to me. Going over some statistics, the worst traffic spot in Houston would be the segment of 610 between I-10 and 59, and that's shown in the visual aid. This segment causes 1.18 million hours of traffic delays for people a year. So that's people motorists in Houston sitting in traffic right there. Just to put this number in perspective, there's about 8,760 hours in a year. So that combined wait time is about 135 years of sitting in traffic for Houstonians in just that segment. Another statistic from ABC 13, a very popular news channel, they rank Houston as the number 7th most congested traffic city in the nation. Now, it might seem like I rank us as number first with all the stressing of traffic that I'm giving, but that's 50 states, 3,143 counties, and roughly 20,000 cities that Houston beats in traffic congestion. Now, I don't know about you, but I would not want to live in those other top 6. The 3 topics that I will be talking about are the Houston traffic patterns of going to work and coming back home, the general irritation of traffic, and a traffic comparison of College Station versus Houston, just in other words, a small town versus a big city. The first topic I'm going to go over is the traffic patterns of going to work and coming back home. It might sound a little unrealistic, but each minute of time you take in the morning can affect what time you get to work drastically. And if you're having a bad day, it's going to get worse. If you're having a bad morning, or I leave at 6 o'clock in the morning and I can get to work at 6:40 sharp through the gates of my machine shop and inside with all the other shop foremans and the operators. Now, if I'm having a bad morning and I don't leave until after 6:10, then I'm not getting to work until after 7:05, 7:10. Shop foreman's already been there since 6:54, opening up the gates, and I'm late. So that's bad. So that's 10 minutes of time of the variability in the morning. Now, talking about leaving work, that is a totally different nightmare depending on how far your work is away from your home. Say it could take anywhere from 30 minutes to 2 hours to get back home depending on where you work. Recently, my new boss, it says some days it takes him 2 hours to get back home just because he would work on North Houston and he lives in southwest side. And the reason he also takes so long is because he doesn't like to pay tolls because it can rack up and it can get expensive. Now, it takes me about an hour, a little under an hour some days to get back home, and that's because I leave at 3:30. If I left at 5:30, which is the traffic nightmare time, it would probably take double for me to get home. And that's just because of the relation of where I work to my home. Now, going into my next topic of discussion is a GPS. A GPS can change your life, and no, I'm not talking about a phone GPS. If you are new to Houston, I highly recommend buying a GPS because you don't want to get lost. And chances are, if you get lost, you're probably having a bad day and you're probably going to have your phone at 2% life and no car charger to help you out. And that right there can cause a lot of stress that no one wants to deal with. So buying a GPS can help you take out that potential stress of getting lost, and it can also help you route around areas that are already congested and having traffic problems. The next topic that I'm going to go over is the College Station traffic. The next topic I'm going to go over is College Station traffic versus Houston traffic. Now, when I first entered College Station, I hated it because I was used to the Houston traffic, and I would drive erratically. And when I got into College Station, everyone moved like slugs around everywhere, and it was just a very mellow town. And it was not good for me. After a couple of years, I got used to it, and now I love it. I love being able to cruise around without anyone honking at you, and I love it to where no one will ever cut you. You rarely get cut off, not as much in Houston, and you don't have to worry about anyone jumping out of their car from road rage trying to kill you. It's a very different atmosphere, and even though it's a small town, like, it's still a condensed environment. You have a college with 40,000 plus 40,000 plus students. You have the permanent residents there. You have incoming and exiting visitors because the college is very busy. So it's not like it's just like a dirt road town. But can you learn something from the Houston chaos? And that answer is yes. Houston has taught me a couple of things. Houston has taught me to be prepared to be on time. Houston has taught me to control my anger to some extent from driving erratically and dealing with terrible drivers. And some people even say, if you can drive in Houston, you can drive anywhere. So don't take being a Houstonian lightly, because we can do what some people can't. And that concludes my speech. Thanks and giggle.